It's day 6 of the Chandler Halderson trial. What one neighbor says he smelled one night while working outside. Also, COVID hospitalizations in the U.S. reach an all-time high as the nation now faces a more serious shortage. Good afternoon. This is News 3 Now at noon. The jury in the Chandler Halderson trial is getting to hear more testimony from the Haldersons' neighbors. Today, the man who lives right across the street from the Halderson home told the jury about smelling something burning on July 1st. He says it was a distinct odor that he thought was someone burning pork in a fire pit.
Kind of became real strong, kind of like a pungent smell, to the point that I actually walked down my driveway half the distance and kind of looked up and down the street to see if anybody was doing anything like grilling or something else was going on, and I didn't see anything at that point.
Deputies allege security camera footage from another neighbor's house shows a flickering light inside the Halderson home during the early morning of July 2nd. They say the position of the light matches the same position as the Haldersons' fireplace. Police are still searching for a man who allegedly hit another man with a baseball bat last month. These are photos of the alleged suspect. The incident happened on December 13th after the two men got into an argument at a Quick Trip. The victim suffered minor hand and knee injuries. Police say the suspect fled the scene on a bicycle. Anyone with information on the suspect is urged to contact Crime Stoppers. Madison police are investigating after a man allegedly robbed a gas station last night. Officers were called to the mobile gas station in the 3100 block of North Sherman Avenue just before 10:30. Police say the suspect approached the store's counter, pointed a gun at an employee, and demanded money from the register. The suspect then allegedly took the money and ran away. The employee was uninjured. A 61-year-old man is arrested after allegedly breaking into a house and trying to kill someone. According to the town of Madison police, the incident occurred on January 1st, just before 2 p.m. at a home on Ridgewood Way. Police say Jeffrey Welty forcibly opened a screen door to the home. The victim, a 24-year-old man, then opened the front door to see what was going on. Welty, who reportedly held a large knife, then allegedly charged into the home. Police say the victim defended himself, hitting Welty unconscious. Welty was charged with 1 count of attempted first-degree intentional homicide and 1 count of burglary. Milwaukee police are investigating after the body of a 21-year-old woman was found in a burned vehicle. The body was found several hours after it crashed and caught fire Sunday morning and was towed. The woman has not been identified. Let's head to the Weather Center now. Julian Seawright has a look at your certified most accurate forecast. Boy, the winds out there bite right through you.
That's right. It's still quite a bite for us as we're heading into the rest of our lunch hour. But at least we have, again, some pretty blue sky for us as we're going into the noon hour for us. But a few things to look at as we go into ahead is that those winds will stay onto the breezy side throughout the rest of the afternoon and going into this evening. The good news is, though, they are southerly winds, so we are looking for a bit of a warm-up compared to yesterday. Now, here's our temperatures as of right now across southern Wisconsin. We're into those upper teens here in Madison and Watertown, and even for Platteville as well, with 21 degrees in Janesville and areas to the southwest with Prairie du Chien and Lone Rock into those lower 20s. However, those winds are definitely on the breezier side, reaching into the upper teens and lower 20-mile-per-hour speeds, which is also bringing in a bit of a bite behind it. We're looking at single-digit wind chills for Madison. 1 degree is what it feels like for Madison and Monroe, with 6 degrees in Janesville and 5 degrees in Platteville. So it still feels pretty chilly outside, so make sure that you are still staying bundled up. But the next few hours, at least we're going to be seeing 20s in our forecast. We haven't seen those in quite a few days. So that's one good thing that we're going to be seeing in our forecast. But we are looking at some activity on the way. We'll talk about that coming up in a few moments. But till then, back to you, Mark.
All right, Julian, thank you. See you in a few minutes. Hospitals are struggling with an increase in COVID cases, staff shortages, and a national blood crisis. Michael George has more details from New York.
The U.S. has set an all-time high for COVID hospitalizations. There are more than 145,000 people hospitalized as of this morning, surpassing the 142,000 record set last January.
Back in my state, hospitals are asking our state leaders to declare a crisis for our medical facilities.
Doctors Rochelle Walensky and Anthony Fauci told senators hospitals are struggling with both the influx of new cases as well as staffing shortages.
Underscoring why it is so important for the unvaccinated to get vaccinated and for those who are already vaccinated to obtain the booster shot.
Hospitals are also dealing with a shortage of blood. Supplies are at such a dangerously low level, the American Red Cross has declared the first ever national blood crisis. Hospitalization rates are also up for children, especially kids younger than 5 who are not yet eligible to be vaccinated.
The children who are in the hospital now are largely those who are unvaccinated.
The American Academy of Pediatrics says more than 580,000 children tested positive for the virus last week, also an all-time high.
Schools having enough testing supplies to stay open is a critical priority for us.
In Chicago, students are expected back in the classroom tomorrow after the city and the teachers union reached a deal allowing individual schools to switch to remote learning if there's a COVID outbreak resulting in teacher absences.
Teaching remotely is 5 times harder for me. I know it's hard on my students, but it's a last-ditch effort to keep the ICU beds open.
More than 5,000 schools across the country have gone virtual since the beginning of the year. Michael George, CBS News, New York. And the U.S. is imposing new COVID-19 restrictions on military bases in Japan. All personnel there have to wear masks while off base, regardless of vaccination status. COVID-19 tests will also be required before arrival, upon arrival, and while in Japan. This decision comes after local governments criticized the U.S. military for failing to contain the spread of the virus at military bases. Japan has seen a rise in COVID-19 cases lately, particularly in Okinawa. UW health experts are urging people to stay home if they show signs of COVID-19. COVID-19 testing remains in high demand as cases continue to rise. With that demand comes limited supply. Experts say many people showing symptoms of COVID have not been able to get a test. UW Health's Dr. Jeff Potoff says the best thing you can do right now is to isolate yourself if you feel ill. Those showing mild symptoms should stay home, rest, drink plenty of fluids, and avoid public areas. If you live with others, try to stay in one room by yourself. If symptoms worsen, call your health care provider. Flights on the West Coast were halted yesterday. Around the same time, North Korea test-fired a suspected ballistic missile. The U.S. and its allies are condemning the launch. Officials in South Korea say the missile flew faster than the one fired last week, which the North claimed was a hypersonic weapon. The launch came as the UN Security Council met in New York to discuss the country's growing weapons threat.
The DPRK's continued pursuit of weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs is a threat to international peace and security.
The recent tests are all in violation of several resolutions of the UN Security Council. Those resolutions ban North Korea from developing or testing missiles and nuclear devices. The U.S. is giving $308 million to independent humanitarian organizations in Afghanistan. The National Security Council says the funds will go towards shelter, essential health care, emergency food, water, and hygiene services amid the COVID-19 pandemic and the winter season. The U.S. is also providing 1 million additional COVID-19 vaccines. A new milestone for organ transplants. Surgeons in Maryland have successfully transplanted a genetically modified pig heart into a 57-year-old man. David Bennett is now recovering days after the 7-hour surgery. He was ineligible for a human organ because of the severity of his heart disease. Although it's too soon to know how the long-term success of the surgery, doctors say it can offer hope to similar patients.
There are hundreds and thousands of people all around the world who are waiting for the organ, and unfortunately, just like this patient, may not qualify for an organ transplant.
There have been prior attempts to transplant an animal organ into a human, but those have failed because the body rejects the organ rapidly. This time, the pig that supplied the heart went through gene editing to remove cells thought to be responsible for rejection. We're learning new information about the death of television icon Betty White. According to her death certificate, White died from a stroke she had 6 days before her death on December 31st. She was cremated, and her remains were given to Glenn Kaplan. That's the man in charge of White's health care directive. Betty White's career spanned more than 6 decades. She died less than 3 weeks away from her 100th birthday. Well, there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon.
Reimbursements for at-home COVID-19 tests are coming soon, and follow the recipe or let the food failures flourish. I'm Diane King Hall at the CBS Broadcast Center. I'll have those stories and more in your CBS Money Watch report.
You're watching News 3 Now at noon. Winner of the National Edward R. Murrow Award for Overall Excellence in Television.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Any first item removed? Just $89.
Those brave men and women of our armed forces, generations of them. Why should today's burdens fall back onto them? They were there for us. Now let's be there for them. Your local Wisconsin energy providers and the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund are working together to deliver Wisconsin veterans in crisis heat, power, and help staying in their home. But they can't do it alone. Call to donate today.
In one instant, an accident can change your life. Gingras, Thompson & Walks has assembled the top award-winning personal injury lawyers to win the biggest settlements and awards for Wisconsin victims. If you've been injured, contact Gingras, Thompson & Walks for a free consultation.
Guys, do you suffer from erectile dysfunction? Now there's great news. Peak Performance for Men will help you regain your performance and confidence naturally. Peak Performance for Men uses an advanced form of acoustic wave therapy, clinically shown to open up and regrow blood vessels, restoring normal and natural functionability where it counts most. There are no needles, no surgery, and best of all, no pain. Call now and receive an ultrasound, your initial consultation, all for free, and over $300 value. Call Peak Performance for Men today.
If your home is drafty and cold in the winter and your heating bills are out of control, it's time for a visit from Dr. Energy Saver by Larson Home Services. Our team will show you where and why your home is using, losing, and wasting energy. We will conduct a comprehensive energy evaluation of your home, identifying problem areas and providing a customized solution that fits your needs. We offer a full range of installation services for your home aimed at eliminating drafts in your living areas, attic, basement, and crawl spaces. These energy upgrades will save you big money on your energy bills and make your home more comfortable and efficient. Our team will provide effective, long-lasting solutions, and right now take 50% off installation labor, get a free heat map analysis of your home, and get a $100 Visa gift card when you sign up for Dr. Energy Saver package. Call now to set up your free estimate because this doctor makes house calls.
Are you ready to make junk disappear?
I am so looking forward to this.
We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point. Any first item removed? Just $89.
Starting this Saturday, Americans can be reimbursed for rapid COVID-19 tests. Under the new rule, the Biden administration is requiring insurers to reimburse Americans for 8 tests per month per person. The new requirement covers any approved over-the-counter rapid tests such as FlowFlex and Binax Now. Novavax could be moving closer to a green light for its coronavirus vaccine. The vaccine maker says it has filed for emergency use authorization with nearly a dozen regulatory agencies globally. Here in the U.S., it submitted its final data on New Year's Eve and says it will file its full application for emergency use authorization soon. It's job versus the jab at JPMorgan Chase for some workers. CEO Jamie Dimon says the company won't pay people not to work in the office and that it wants workers to get vaccinated. With the warning, Chase seems to be following in the footsteps of Citigroup, which said it will start firing unvaccinated workers. And it's a flop for the homemade flapjacks. According to a new OnePoll survey, more than half of Americans still can't seem to get down simple recipes. The most difficult task? Pancakes. 38% said they struggle whipping up a decent batch. More than a third struggle to serve up a side of eggs. And 30% can't master the mashed potato. And that's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to CBSMoneyWatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Diane King Hall.
All right, Diane, thank you. The Dow Industrials down almost 13 points at the noon hour. The NASDAQ, though, up 129. The S&P 500 up 24. Up next at noon, Pam Yaki will have the latest ag numbers. Plus, Julian will take a closer look at your full forecast. That's when we come back.
Democrat governance is a disaster for America. A crisis at the border, leading to a flood of illegal immigrants, a humiliating and dangerous surrender in Afghanistan, leading to more aggressive behavior from Russia, China, and Iran, rising inflation, higher gasoline, energy, and grocery prices, more government dependency, and more debt for our children and grandchildren. It's all leading to a weaker America.
It feels like our country is being torn apart. That's not how it felt when I ran in 2016. Back then, I intended to serve a second term and go home. But now, with the Democrats in total control, our nation's on a very dangerous path. If you're in a position to help make our country safer and stronger, would you just walk away? I've decided I can't. I'll stand and fight for freedom. I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message because I love America and Wisconsin just like you.
When you're remodeling your plumbing, turn to RHD. We're family-owned and committed to getting the job done right the first time. Reducing the spread of germs is very important, especially now. It's time to think about automatic and touchless plumbing. These new faucets give you a sleek, modern look while keeping you healthy and conserving water. Hand-waving sensors reduce germs, and your virtual voice assistant can help you determine the water temperature and how much to use. Reliable, honest, dedicated. RHD Plumbing, a proud partner of the Green Bay Packers.
Memories matter. This bend on Cox Hollow Lake was one of Dad's favorite fishing holes. Crest Funeral and Cremation Service helped us make sure he's never forgotten, making it personal. It's how you heal. We are Crest. We truly believe your memories matter.
Cross-country skiing is a great way to enjoy Wisconsin winters, and now there is a new course right here in the 608. Josh Breider takes you along to try it out.
And we are watching the latest model trends for a possible weekend snow event. We'll have the latest forecast from 4:30 to 7.
News 3 Now and St. Vincent de Paul are collecting new and gently used blankets for our neighbors in need. You can drop them off at any Dane County St. Vincent de Paul store or participating area churches the last weekend in January. Thank you for your generosity.
The Farm Report is sponsored by Blaine's Farm and Fleet.
Let's check in now with Pam Yankee with the Midwest Farm Report on this chilly Tuesday.
Yeah, but at least there's sunshine out there.
Yeah,
I had to use my shades today running around. I'm good with that, and it helps anyhow. We've got other good news that should be putting a smile on some Wisconsin farmers and processors' face. Today, Governor Tony Evers announced that he is going to launch a $5 million effort to try to bring more young talent, or talent in general, into the Wisconsin meat processing industry. Now, this was something that the Wisconsin Meat Caucus had initially asked for in 2020. It didn't make it into the budget, but instead, we did find funds for some additional meat inspectors through the Wisconsin Department of Ag, Trade, and Consumer Protection. That was pretty critical. And also right now, the Wisconsin Department of Agriculture is in the process of distributing grant funds to our individual meat processors. They have to match the monies that are invested by the Department of Agriculture, but still, it is a little something, although it may not be as much as the Meat Caucus had initially wanted. So starting in 2022, we hope that they are going to get approval for about $5 million of additional monies to try to find that next generation, that new talent for our Wisconsin meat processing industry that still continues to struggle with some of the challenges of the pandemic. Do want to remind anybody that owns livestock or has animals this side of horses, dogs, and cats. The Wisconsin Department of Agriculture and the Wisconsin Livestock Identification Consortium are going to be contacting more than 60,000 premise renewal folks across the state. Remember, Wisconsin state law requires that all livestock owners have to register where their animals are kept. It's really about a statewide biosecurity effort to protect all animals. Any of the current registrants have to renew their premise registrations by July 31st. So look for that letter and respond as quickly as you can. This involves farms and hobby farms, backyard poultry flocks, veterinary clinics, stables, livestock areas. Anybody that's got animals, you've got to register that premise. So here's your early warning. No change today on barrel cheese. It stays at $1.83. 40-pound block cheese, though, up 5 1/4 at $2.04 3/4. And there goes that double A butter. Tell you, Mark, we're going to be in the sunshine on the beach somewhere with this. Up 6 1/4 today, $2.84 1/4 per pound. Yowza. That is, you're going to feel that when it makes it down to the retail level.
Yeah, that's a lot. We don't have to register our dogs, do we?
No dogs, no cats, no horses.
Okay.
Right now.
Good.
So.
One last thing we have to do. All right, Pam, thank you.
Yep.
See you later. Here's Julia now with your full forecast.
Well, as you're heading to your lunch hour, just know it is going to be on the chillier side. But the good news is that we are looking at pretty blue sky, and on top of it, the temperatures are a bit better than they were just yesterday. Right now, we're looking at 17 degrees for us, even though it feels like a single digit here in Madison because of those breezy winds coming in from the south. So those southerly winds are doing their best to improve our temperatures into those upper teens and into those 20s, as we're at 20 degrees in Platteville with 21 in Janesville. However, with those winds, we're still going to be looking at a bit of that temperature change being much better than it was yesterday. Improvements are into the double digits throughout all of southern Wisconsin. But again, with those wind speeds looking into 20 miles per hour in Madison, 22 in Monroe, but 17 in Platteville and 18 in Janesville, it has brought our wind chills for much of southern Wisconsin still into the single digits. Areas that are a bit slower in terms of those wind speeds are into the teens, but we are still holding on to some pretty chilly conditions once again as we get into our Tuesday. Now, we are looking for improvements in terms of our wind chills as we approach the rest of our afternoon, especially as we get into the 5 p.m. commute. We're looking for those winds to start to die down just a bit and those temperatures to increase even more so. So our wind chills will be around into those middle and upper teens for us as we head into the evening commute. So as you're planning out the day, just know we are going to be looking at temperatures to improve. We're looking into those middle 20s and upper 20s as well, especially as we get into this evening. And in terms of our commutes, well, we're not looking at any issues from the weather world. Just know it's going to be on a chillier side as you continue throughout the rest of the day. Now, as we go in throughout the rest of today and heading into tomorrow, just know this low is trying to set up into the northern areas of the upper Midwest. With that, we are looking at a bit of a warm front rolling in, but that low could be bringing in a bit of some areas of some light flurries or even some snow showers. So this is what we're going to be planning out. As we approach the evening hours, could be seeing some cloud cover start to develop around Madison. And as we go into tonight, we are still going to be looking at clouds starting to blanket much of southern Wisconsin for us. But then as we go into our Wednesday morning, keep an eye out. We could be seeing some snow showers starting to roll into southern Wisconsin and make their way into a southeasterly track, switching their way into a bit of a mixture as temperatures look to warm up into those lower 30s. Then as we go into our Wednesday evening commute, well, we're looking for clearer conditions once again. But we are keeping an eye on for this weekend as a new pattern is looking to be a bit more active in bringing in some snow into southern Wisconsin and to Wisconsin in itself. Still trying to keep its way into the southwestern parts of the region, but for the most part, we're still looking at this weekend to potentially be bringing in some snow. So this is your first warn. Once again, it's something we're going to keep an eye on throughout the next couple of days. But regardless, we are still looking at that to be our first warn for us, just in case as we approach the weekend of that to start to really come into fruition for us. And as we take a look at our 10-day going in throughout the next few days, just know the temperatures will be much more milder than what we felt in the last few. Heading into the weekend, however, we're going to start to dwindle back down into some 20s, but at least we're not looking at single digits for much of our day parts throughout the next foreseeable future, Mark. So I can deal with some 30s and 20s. It's actually a pleasant sight to see for right now.
Yeah, it's almost normal highs, right?
Yes, it's going to be much more seasonable than what it has been. No more Arctic cold for us.
All right, at least for now.
Yep.
All right, Julian, thank you. There's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. I'm next. Howard has a suggestion for what to do with old ingredients in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
If your brown sugar is as hard as a rock, you can either grab a chisel and go to town, or you can stick around as I share with you a kitchen tip and recipe that'll soften your heart.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Water is one of nature's most beautiful and life-sustaining resources. At no fault of their own, many Wisconsin utility customers are facing a shutoff to their water service. This leaves them without the one life-giving resource we all take for granted. And those hardest hit are on fixed incomes, juggling multiple temporary jobs, or those who lost full-time jobs in sectors hardest hit by the pandemic. If someone you care about needs a hand up, your local Wisconsin energy and emergency rental assistance providers are working together to keep you safely in your home and your water, heat, and power on. If you are in danger of losing your water service, call 833-H2O-WISC, 833-426-9472. You may not ask for it, but we're here to help.
Habitat homes are built and bought by the hardworking families that live in them. Through affordable mortgages backed by your donations, Habitat Dane County offers a chance for these families to invest in their future and their community. Please donate or volunteer today.
Dear Winter, I'm coming. My squad of 16 vehicles with all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive is ready to take you on. Safety's the name of my game. So you better bundle up. Toyota.
Right now, you can get 2.49% APR for 60 months on Toyota's most popular 2022 models. Find yours at Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
iMart Express is the only place where you can count on same-day service. Thanks to our local labs, shop our huge selection and get quality glasses at a price you'll love. And see better today. Right glasses, right price, right now.
Start the new year off right with Menards Bag Sale. Pick up a bag in-store and get 15% off everything you can fit in the bag now through January 15th. Whether you pack it, load it, stuff it, or stack it. From light bulbs to tools, snacks, and much more. Fit it in the bag and save 15%. So pick up a bag in-store and find out how much you fit in the bag now through January 15th.
We've all been there. We reach for our brown sugar to make a batch of cookies, and it's hard as a rock. Before you have a meltdown, I have a few tricks that'll help save the day. But first, let me tell you why brown sugar gets that way in the first place. You see, what makes brown sugar is that it contains molasses. When the moisture in the molasses evaporates, it becomes hard. To prevent this from happening, you should either store your brown sugar in an airtight container or place a slice of bread in the bottom of a container, which will help keep it moist and soft. If it does become hard, place your brown sugar inside a microwavable bowl with a damp paper towel over it and microwave it for about 20 seconds. Now that you know how to store and soften brown sugar, let me share a brown sugar snack cake recipe with you that is just heavenly. It's one of those cakes that as soon as you try it, you mark the recipe as a family favorite. And since it starts with a handful of pantry basics and is baked in just 30 minutes, it's perfect for an anytime dessert. To get the recipe for what we call our brown sugar snack cake, simply visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we discovered a brown sugar hack, resulting in a sweet way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Julian, now you know what to do with your brown sugar.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some helpful tips. But as we go into the rest of our noon hour, here's what we're going to be looking at, just not for today, but for the rest of the week. Mild temperatures are on the rise. We're going to be going back into those 30s, but we could be seeing some late flurries or even some snow showers from tonight even into our early Wednesday morning commute. So keep an eye on that in case you might need to take some extra time in the morning. We're looking for accumulating snow to be possible as we get into our Friday evening into Saturday morning as well. And this is your first warn once again, because we are going to be keeping our eye on the weekend for that snow possibility. But that's going to do it for us. Thank you all. Back to you, Mark.
All right, Julian, thank you. We'll see you back here at 4 o'clock. In the meantime, have yourselves a great afternoon and stay warm.